spent way too much time on. What we've done is program the game to where we mix up all the items, every treasure chest, every item location, every heart piece, heart container, crystal, and dungeon. It's all mixed up. Now, for the escape sequence, what we've done to make sure that you can still get through is to go ahead and make sure that Uncle will give you a weapon of some sort. It may not be the sword, may be a fire rod, might be the hammer, might be any of the canes, but we really don't know what we're going to get.
Yeah, it looks like we'll find out soon, though, because we're already off. So quickly, what do you think we're going to see on Uncle?
I'm really kind of hoping to see the Cane of Burna.
Well, you said cane, just not the right one, it looks like. We got a Cane of Samaria.
All right, we're going to make sure that these two are synced up here, I think. And a lot of love over here.
Yeah, nice to find early. I mean, usually if you've got bomb strats, at least, because then it's a lot easier to do suicide strats with that extra heart container. Not in so much danger.
One thing we have to keep in mind with the Cane of Samaria when we're doing that early open there is the limited magic that you will have. It kind of limits the ability to farm up bombs that you will need through the escape.
Yeah, it does limit it a little bit. Not as bad as something like the Cane of Burna would do, because that pretty much limits your ability to farm bombs entirely. Samaria, you do have a good amount of magic to play with still. I'm actually not sure what was in that first chest. It lagged from me for a little bit there.
Just a little bit. We'll be able to see it here before too long.
Looks like a piece of heart was in there.
So Vash, of course, using the ever-popular Sprite can, and Pooh, as everyone would expect, is using the Mario Sprite.
Everybody's favorite plumber.
Well, I don't know. I'm a
Maybe.
Luigi fan myself, but
Yeah, Luigi doesn't get enough love. Mario always takes all the credit.
yep. Pooh working around trying to save some strats here. Let's see. Vash is on his way. We really haven't gotten, other than Cane of Samaria, anything pointing us to where we need to go after this, have we?
No, we haven't really seen any kind of progression just yet. It's really just been that, and I think heart containers. And pieces of heart. Bash almost gets tagged by the ball and chain guard trying to take that pot out. Alright, we got a bomb upgrade in Zelda's cell. So the first chest we find in the escape sewer sequence is going to be a small key. It will have to be.
Absolutely. That small key is going to be, I mean, it has to be in order to get through that one locked door. You can find it anytime before that. Now we know what it's going to be.
Well, hopefully they've been giving Zelda some water in that cell, because she might get thirsty and just start drinking out of that Sprite can. We don't know what would happen then.
Oh, that might be disastrous. It could happen. It absolutely can happen. No, it can't happen.
Still no bomb drop on either side yet, though.
see like Vash is trying to farm up some of these soldiers. Don't know. Oh, nice 8 bomb drop right as I was saying something.
Yep, if that's the bomb drop you get, that's the one you want to see, because that gives you enough for all of Kakariko as well.
All of Kakariko, and really leading you all the way into, if you don't get another weapon, theoretically you might even be able to do Mini Muldorm as well.
Yeah, it depends what other kind of weaponry you have. With Kain and Samaria, if they don't use too much magic getting out of the sewers, then yeah, they should have more than enough magic to use Kain and Samaria to get through Mini Muldorm Cave too. Assuming we don't find any kind of weapon in Kakariko or the back of Escape.
As we're getting ready to pick up this key that Vash is on his way to, I do want to draw your attention, of course, to Vash's hearts. You'll see he has opted for green hearts. Changing the heart color in the game is a new option in version 29 that the programmers, after consulting and talking with some people with certain color blindness issues, were made aware that, red, there are too many people with red color blindness issues, and we want to make the game as accessible as we can to everyone. So the first round, you will see the green pendant will have a little star by it, and the red crystals, which are the 5-6 crystals, will have stars by them to denote those. But in order to increase the accessibility, we opted to allow having the hearts change color as part of when you download the ROM, you can change that along with your sprite. And that's just one of those nice accessibility options that the programmers developed there.
Yeah, it definitely was a nice thing, because some people with the red color blindness, red just looks black to them, so they couldn't actually tell what their heart level was at any point in time.
All right, and rupees, and a red boomerang. I mean, it's nice.
Yes, so still no weapon, but the 120 rupees is nice, because we hadn't found any rupees before that, and you definitely want to try to get 100 rupees while you're in Kakariko.
All right, looks like well, that was a jump forward.
I'm not sure if POOBear, it looks like he should have gotten what was in the back of his escape, so he should have his red meringue also. We won't be able to tell until an item screen, but it does look like he has 7 bombs, so he might have gotten that same 8 bomb drop that Vash has, and we just weren't able to see it while the stream kind of caught up.
Absolutely. So we're going to see our first look into Kakariko Village from GrandPOOBear. Meanwhile, Vash is going to show us from that delay, see what's going to be on Lumberjack Ledge from the looks of it. Also, what's back in the Lost Woods.
Yeah, we'll see if this is an Ega 1 seed or not. At least for a little bit.
I mean, I would be just happy with it not being an Aga seed. And there's our first sword on Pooh's side in Blind's basement.
All right, just 20 bucks. So no Ega 1 seed just yet. We'll have to see if that's going to be Dark World access though later.
I mean, that is always possible. So we're getting ready to go through Kakariko Village, of course. Vash and GrandPOOBear going through. It's really the most dense item location in the entire game, so it's a no-brainer to go ahead and get this out of the way as soon as you can.
Yeah, I think really the only... Oh, and there's Master Swords, so we're only a lamp away from Ega 1, since we were talking about that.
Ooh, man. There's a lamp!
Speaking of lamps, so Kakariko Village is... Here's your ticket to Ega 1. Decide if you want.
Oh. And all the rupees, by the way. Wow.
Well, and the most important item in there, of course, since it's going to be, if it's Ega 1 seed, you got to have the swag net.
I mean, I don't see why not.
So it looks like POOBear probably skipped the heart container that Vash just found in Kakariko, or in the Lost Woods, because GrandPOOBear is still at 4 hearts. And we know a heart container was picked up from a chest in Escape, which I know he didn't skip.
All right, so Pooh following kind of traditional routing, Vash taking a little bit of extra time in the Lost Woods. So GrandPOOBear is getting ready to do some really interesting routing. There's been kind of an increased use of going ahead and diving into what is into the twins' house in order to get over to the maze game. A lot of people used to check that and then save and quit if nothing was there, and then would come back later if they needed to get to it. A lot more people recently have started just doing it, and then if it is something, they'll just grab it. Pooh looks like he's going with the check option first.
Just 50 rupees, so not gonna grab those. We got more than enough rupees right now.
Absolutely. Pooh is on his way, gonna refill. He's only at 4 hearts and still with green mail, even though he looks red. We'll see. It's kind of an unhealthy seed up to this point in time. You'd like to have a little bit more health before you start adventuring out into the world.
Yeah, and he'll have to be especially careful if he decides to try to go towards Ice Rod Cave then, because those crabs will hit him for 2 hearts worth of damage, so he can only survive 1, assuming he doesn't get hit by anything else right now.
And there's our Power Glove. Nice early access there.
Yeah, that opens up the Old Man and what's inside Spectacle Rock, at least.
Yeah, I can't really get up Death Mountain quite yet. Just a couple item locations that you can check. We'll either need the mirror or the hook shot to really sink our teeth into meatier parts of Death Mountain at this point. But there's still plenty of these Sphere 1 locations to check, so not terribly worried at this point in time.
Yeah, there's still Mini Moldorm Cave. We have Ice Rod Caves open, as well as Sahasralas, and 2 to 3 items potentially in Eastern, depending on how it's set up and if they know dark rooms or not.
Pooh just showed us what the stun prize package is going to be. He used the boomerang to stun one of the enemies. If you stun any enemy and then kill it, it will always give you the same prize no matter what. And this time around, the stun prize is 20 rupees. So not necessarily good for health, but certainly good if you need to farm rupees for whatever reason, beyond the 700 we already have.
Yeah, the 700 as far as Zora, I think they have enough for pretty much every minigame, pod access, and Zora right now. So, and the generous guy, well, there's mitts.
Well, this was a worthwhile check.
Yeah, we get the mitts. Get silvers from the generous guy. Okay, so the chance of it being an Egg of 1 seed now is a lot slimmer, unless it be Moon Pearl on Pyramid, or he's needed for the east side, because we don't have a hammer or flippers yet.
Yeah, Aga is absolutely at least diminished at this point in time. We still have lots of item locations we can check. We'll see what ends up happening, though. Still some few items, but at least with that Master Sword, it's pointing up towards Aga, along with that lamp. We'll see what we have, though.
Well, there's another heart container.
I mean, having to dodge those crabs, I think you deserve at least a heart container after that.
Yeah, at least a heart container. And looks like POOBear is going to go for a fake flipper if he's walking further down. That's
interesting. Fake flipper right now will only be able to get you the item that Zora himself is holding. No, he's just going to keep on walking. Oh.
Nope. Could also fake flipper to Hobo as well. So there's 2 items you could get from this, as well as you can check Lake Hylia Island, see if that's necessary.
Yeah, I don't know what I think about this check. Usually you want to hold off until you have the Moon Pearl to do this, and Judging by the number of items that we have, I don't know if we're going to have anything like the Moon Pearl won't be here for our Dark World access. So I don't entirely know how I feel about this check. It could pay off though.
Well, it could potentially be here. The only actual item that we're sequence breaking is Hobo. Since we have the gloves, we can technically get to Zor, the vanilla route.
Oh, that's true. And just a piece of heart over here on Hobo. And he saves and quits. So we'll see where Pooh ends up going after this.
From the looks of it, he's going to be heading up Death Mountain. Vash picks up his silvers and his Titan's mitts, along with another hard container. We'll see if he makes the trek to the Ice Rod Cave to get his 7th hard container. It sure looks like he is.
And here's our first map check. So crystals 4 and 5, Eastern and the Desert Palace. Looks like it's the green pendant up in Tower of Hera. You know, the green pendant is interesting because sometimes it disincentivizes people from checking it because it's a pendant. You may not need to do it. At the same time, that's just one extra item that you could possibly check by turning it into Sahasrara. So you kind of have to weigh your options, and if you're looking for just one item or where you're at in your item progression when you decide whether or not to do the green pendant.
Yeah, and as far as Hera too, it's not a very long dungeon to clear. Even if you are forced to go into the basement, which they have a fire source for already. So if they get a mirror, Hera is completable at this point.
And Pooh taking a save and quit, not checking to see what's up in there. That's an interesting check. We'll see where he goes from here.
Yeah, I guess that's not too much of a loss of time since he just saved and quit pretty much right after he saved the old man anyways. But it is interesting that since you're there, at least, you know, not checking what's on top of Spectacle Rock as well as what's in Spectacle Rock, pretty much losing the time on the save and quit, the time to get back into the game.
And both the runners going over here to check the eastern area. No bow, so unless we find the bow, they're not going to be able to go ahead and do eastern. But, I mean, it's not a bad check. You have 3 items in Sahasrara's closet here, and then you have 3 items in eastern that you might have access to, at least 2 of them. Uh-oh.
Well, there's a book, and, you know, depending on the item placement in Desert could potentially be completable.
Desert is such a dangerous check without the boots because it's so easy to be boots locked in the desert area. This could, I don't know, if something is there, it would be absolutely trolly.
It would be, but they're also running out of locations. They're both going into Eastern. We've got, you know, depending on item placement, we've got 2 or 3 items here. It depends if Armos is going to have one or not. If there's nothing there and we have no progression, that means there's either something on inside Spectacle Rock, inside Desert Palace, or Aghanis Cave, or it's a Aga 1 seed at that point. Looks like they're pretty much entering Eastern at the same time, though, just kind of a room behind. Now they're in the same room, so we'll get these checks pretty much right on top of each other.
Yep, this is going to be, I mean, this is absolutely fantastic. I love watching runners effectively holding hands as they're going through the run.
Yeah, Mario's trying to chase down that can of Sprite. He's thirsty.
Like, actually thirsty, not the
Yeah.
other colloquial terms for the use of thirsty.
Yeah, the normal term of thirsty.
Oh, and the cape.
The cape, so
That's
not really too important, because if it was going to be an Aga 1 seed, we already had Master Sword anyways. But if we only had Fighter Sword, on the other hand, that would be like, yeah, you're probably going to Aga at this point. Enjoy.
I mean, that's still absolutely a possibility at this point, and I take it back. I want them to do Aga because I had to suffer through Aga, so everyone should suffer.
I was like, you just want him to share in your suffering at this point.
Pretty much, yeah. Who didn't quite get the quick kill there, but still managed to do very nicely. And there's the Moon Pearl. There's our Dark World access.
Yep, AGA 1 is not required. Perhaps. There's still a very small chance that maybe we do need to find a flippers or hammer at this point to be able to get over to the east side to get to like the pod area, catfish and pyramid right now.
Although, I don't know if I've seen it, but logically, if nothing is over there and pod is a pendant, we may not need access over there.
That is entirely possible.
Now, to be perfectly honest, I don't know if I've ever seen a seed where that entire, half of the continent in Dark World isn't required in some capacity, but logically, it is possible.
Yeah, it is very possible logically. It might be a very small percentage that it ever happens, but it is an option. And I want to say that's all 3 items out of desert, too. Yes, it is.
Yeah, I believe so. So GrandPOOBear is now leaving. I think he's making a beeline over for Dark World access, which is absolutely the logical play at this point. Vash going elsewhere.
Vash looks like he might be making a play to desert.
That's gutsy.
No, it looks like he's trying to go into the Dark World, but forgets I don't have a hammer. But yeah, it is gutsy, but it does help as far as knowledge, because if this seed isn't boots locked, you're not looking for the boots, unless there's that 1 in 22 chance where the big key is, which does help you as far as knowledge. But we get a map check. We've got Pendant Turtle Rock and Pendant Thieves Town with 6 in Skull Woods, and everything else is a normal crystal. So we are going to need to get over to that side.
All right, so we'll see what Egina has for us here. This is one of those out-of-the-way locations that when it has something, absolutely controller players for, a long time, 10, 15, 20 minutes at a time, if you're just hunting around for something.
Yeah, especially if it's like not an AGA 1 seed like this one is. You usually don't come here until you go to desert, which we just have a piece of heart, so nothing major. But if Vash does find something major inside of Desert Palace, it's probably going to hurt GrandPOOBear, because it'll probably be a while till he makes his way to desert right now. We find the Ether Coin, though, in Thieves Town for its first item.
Yeah, 4 items in all of Thieves Town, so we don't entirely know. And there's Fetch Quest Mushroom, also in Thieves Town. Uh-oh. Four items total in Thieves Town, so you get 2s to start off with. One of these last 2 is guaranteed to be the big key. And we get hit with the Bunny Beam and see the Mario Bunny Beam is Toad.
That's convenient since he just picked up a mushroom, too, if you think about it.
Oh, that's bad. But I guess Mario is supposed to normally, grow quite a bit after seeing a mushroom.
Yeah, he must already be Super Mario then, so he can't grow twice. Looks like he is going to leave Thieves Town after picking up 2 of the 4 items in here, though. And I don't think Vash checked the torch yet, but we had the big key in the 1 accessible chest that's there no matter what. And that's just a heart container, so this is not boots locked, but it is one of the items, so we're only going to find 1 more item here.
Yeah, so this is guaranteed, I believe, to be just the key. And Pooh finds the fire rod.
Yeah, that's an interesting find where it is, because now you can go to Skull Woods. Whether or not that's something you want to do and go fight Mothula with 7 hearts, that's another question entirely, though.
Not just, I mean, Seven Hearts green mail. That's an entirely different fight. And the flute!
All right, so Village of Outcasts has value. They've been stealing everything.
And other than the Moon Pearl, which we did find in Eastern Palace, everything else has been overworld, hasn't it?
Yeah, everything's been overworld other than that.
That's just... Oh,
okay.
Quake.
That could be interesting because flute, depending, I mean, we can't get into Mire unless we find a hookshot or boots at some point. But if Mire's Quake and we don't get a mirror, it could be a while till GrandPOOBear makes his way here. And if something's inside of Mire, not to mention it is a crystal, that could be huge.
Yeah, there's a lot of what-if scenarios right now, and that's one of the nice things about this kind of randomizer situation. We have no idea what's going on, and these two are in two entirely different locations. That's why randomizer is awesome, because speedruns are not muscle memory. It's how can you puzzle out what you're going to do.
Yeah, and making those right decisions sometimes where it's like you have so many locations to check, and it's like, I'm going to gamble this, and it pays off and just puts you in a large lead, and you usually can tell when that happens too. It's like, okay, I made this, I found this item, I know I'm in the lead at this point.
Until there's, something trolly like hookshot in the dig game or something along those lines. Feels bad.
I was going to say something else, but I'm going to leave it alone. It's mean. You technically got close enough to it, but yeah. Meanwhile, Vash is making his way through desert, and we are getting GrandPOOBear to check Hype Cave. We'll see if it lives up to its name or if we have the not so hype cave. And he's got to be careful with 2 hearts because pretty much anything hits him right now, he will die.
He uses his... Oh no, that's his last bomb!
That was his last bomb. Hopefully he gets some bombs right here.
No!
That's not a bomb.
That's the... Oh, dagger to the heart. No, don't! There's literally a bomb shot 1 screen up.
Yep,
there's literally a bomb shot 1 screen up. Yep. Oh no.
So I'm sure GrandPOOBear is going to head to Kakariko, fill up on bombs, and we'll see where he goes from there then. Oh, and he'll activate his flute as well.
I mean, he's not losing a ton of time. It sucks that he didn't quite have the bombs at that point in time. Meanwhile, Vash is on Land Molus, Master Sword Land Molus. I mean, not too bad of a fight.
Yeah, it's not too bad. A lot better than Fighter Sword or some of the other nasty fights we've seen in this tournament. Like Cane of Burna and bombs. But right now, with the way the items have been laid out, we know nothing of any current value was in Desert. It's really seeming like the play might be to either go to Skull Woods or in the Mire area right now.
Mire's absolutely a possibility, given that we have both the flute and the Titan's mitts. The Mire Shed absolutely has an option. But really, that's the Mire Shed. That's it. We don't have access to Mire itself because even if we could open it, if it's either Ether or Quake, we don't have either the boots or the hookshot to get much further into it. We also don't have the mirror to check Checkerboard Cave. So that's only a 2-item check right now. I think the runners will probably put that off until they can check more than those 2.
Yeah, probably. It does give you the knowledge of the medallion needed, but we got a tempered sword inside Skull Woods, and that does help you because as far as that, if it's Quake, Vash knows I don't need to look for a medallion unless I need to go in Turtle Rock, and Flipper's in Skull Woods. So
oh my.
So we do have access to the east side now. You know what else we have access to that's in the Dark World with all of that, right?
Oh, Ice Palace.
Yeah, might not be in logic depending on key setup, but we can get in there and check some chests. Not a lot because of the no hammer yet, but it's potential.
Let's be realistic here. If you are required to do Ice Palace with 7 hearts and green mail and no hammer even, you might have a bad time doing that.
I'm going to say, yeah, pretty much you're going to have a bad time.
It's worth noting, though, Pooh somewhere picked up the Tempered Sword.
It was the first item in Skull Woods. He got the Tempered Sword and the flippers.
Oh, so we've already gotten both items, so he doesn't have to worry about anything else.
You can just rush right to Mothula. And that Tempered Sword is going to make that fight a lot easier. And Vash picks up his flute. And the flippers, we already got the fake flipper to check Hobo, but that did also open up the Waterfall of Wishing area too. As well as Zora Ledge, since nobody's actually been up to the Zora area just yet.
That's right. It would be interesting to see that here directly. Poof, getting some lucky drops there. A couple of small magic pots, effectively refilling his shots for the Fire Rod.
And Vash is taking the frog on a world tour right now. We'll see where he goes. Gets his Fire Rod.
The Jeremiah World Tour. We might even get a hype cave check here before too long as he's doing the World Tour. No, he's going to save and quit to turn in immediately.
I guess this does kind of make sense because then you could grab the purple chest in Dark World and then go through that. And then if you find the mirror by some reason, you can just get that. But then if not, just do a save and quit.
Well, I don't know if he's going to do that and actually route all those together, because he'll also be able to activate his flute as he's going through here. So he can get the purple chest. And then depending on what he does, he might have to save and quit as well, because he still doesn't have, I don't know. There's a few different options I guess he has, but hoping for the mirror seems like a long shot.
But on GrandPOOBear's side, he does clutch the Mothula fight with 1 heart left. Had a very nice fight, and then clutched out at the end when he started taking damage.
Yep, very nice fight by Pooh there. Mothula is never easy, but 7 heart Mothula with green mail is especially not easy, even with Temper Sword and Fire Rod. So kudos to him there. And we see he's going to go ahead and turn in the mushroom. And our mushroom is, you know what? I don't think he's terribly upset to see that.
Yeah, probably not. Just, that 1 heart left on Mothula. It's like, I probably wish I didn't skip that heart piece in the Lost Woods earlier. And we get the Swag Duck on Vash's side unlocked after the Hyrulean Randomizer National Anthem.
You can see it, but I was kneeling for that. All right.
All right.
All right.
So nothing in the Waterfall of Wishing. Vash is still going to skip out of Skull Woods, which right now, as far as we know, is not a terrible idea. He'll miss Tempered, but Flippers hasn't led to anything just yet.
Flippers were required absolutely by logic in the sea, but you're absolutely right. They haven't led to anything. No progression block behind them.
Yep, and so we'll see if Vash decides to go deeper into Thieves Town. GrandPOOBear's already been here, seen 2 of the items. We saw nothing on Zora's Ledge. We already knew that the Hobo doesn't have anything. So Flippers doesn't lock any items currently, but potentially there could be something in Ice Palace still. We do need them for Swamp Palace, but we're still missing a mirror and a hammer to even think about really getting deep inside of there.
And Zora with the biggest ripoff of all time, just the single rupee.
Yep, that's gotta hurt. If only Zora gave you hints to what he has. Like, I have something green for you. Just look at your items. I don't want it.
Yeah, there's nothing green that. Oh God, what if it's the book?
Yeah, that'd be about the only thing. I have something green for you. I'm missing the book. Okay, here's your rupee. You got me again, Zora.
I have something red for you, and there's literally half of everything that's red.
Or blue.
Looks like Pooh's going to be routing around, and we'll see what he picks up.
Probably gonna go back to Hype Cave. And Vash, that was an intentional death, probably to go back to the start of the dungeon and leave instead of walking out.
Yep, absolutely looks like it.
But it looks like he's gonna actually make the play up to Skullwoods now.
I mean, it's a solid play at this point in time. He'll be able to pick up Temper Sword. He'll be able to pick up also, what was the other item? Flippers. Yep.
The other interesting thing, and this might be what he's thinking about, it's out of logic still, unless they find the hammer, or this could be another one of those troll situations. Pyramid Fairy could actually have our progress. Never mind, there's hammer. I'm gonna be quiet.
Well, that's going to make Pooh a little bit even more upset that he wasn't able to get in there the first time. But hammer is absolutely a nice item. We'll see where he goes with the hammer from this point in time. It gives us access to that East Dark World. Also, some more options in terms of where he could possibly go. Some other item locations. We have hammer pegs. We have still working on some logic here for, unfortunately, Death Mountain. We'll see where he goes.
Yeah, at this point, Hookshot would open everything up on Death Mountain, including everything on Dark Death Mountain. Mirror would open up everything except 3 chests in Hookshot Cave.
All the chests in Hookshot Cave. We cannot bonk across because we don't have the boots.
That's right, no boots yet. But with that hammer, that also means that Pyramid Fairy is now within logic too.
And I get the feeling that Pooh knows that because he's over here in Desert. Desert is the other 5/6 crystal. He's got the first one. This is kind of an interesting instance where the 5/6 crystals are both really early accessible, so they could have quite a few items for us.
Yeah, not only is it early accessible, there's not a lot limiting what's behind there too. But something that's unfortunate, the way that Vash decided to come into Skull Woods was a little different than most runners would do, and didn't go into like the very front. It's actually deciding to check the back, so it's not going to find Tempered, will not find the Flippers before the Mothula fight, it looks like.
I know some runners like to check this back end first in order, trying to find, for example, a key so they can make that initial routing a little bit easier. For example, taking that key over so they can use the side door. Then Vash taking in another death there. I think that's intentional just to refill hearts and get out of here.
Yeah, and we'll see if he decides to go for Mothula. Yep, he's going to go for Mothula, so not going to find anything here. Might be a little upset after seeing the Tempered Sword when he finishes Mothula, and probably is going to wish that he had that for that fight, because it does make that fight a lot easier from Master Sword.
Oh, absolutely. It's a night and day difference in just about everything between Master Sword and Tempered Sword. I'll be honest, when I was growing up playing the game, I didn't notice that big of a difference, but when you speed run, you do.
Yep, takes another intentional death to get his health back.
And we see Pooh on his way over here to Landmolus. He'll be picking up his 5/6 crystal before too long. A little bit better equipped than Vash was with that tempered, also with the fire rod and the hammer. So he's going to have pretty much armed to the teeth for everything you can possibly want for Landmolus.
Yeah, I can't really ask for much more other than maybe silvers or half magic if you're using fire rod strats, but I'm sure he'll have no problem with the fight with his equipment. Yeah, Vash not finding anything in that chest, which we know wasn't going to be there, and is going to start heading back towards Matula now. Yep, it's going to take the long way around so he can pick up hearts, probably pick up magic, get as much of his resources back as he can right now. When unfortunately Vash gets grabbed by the Wall Master, he is going to leave for right now. Ooh, and unfortunately takes a death, trying to get back into Skull Woods. So it's going to send him back to the light world, and we'll see where he goes and routes from there. So he does start at the Sanctuary. We get the map offline. Mullis and GrandPOOBear gets his second crystal, and he has both the 5 and 6 crystals now. So we'll see if he goes and decides to do the big bomb for the Pyramid Fairy. Okay, so GrandPOOBear must have skipped the right items because I just noticed he doesn't have Quake. So he's coming back in here to find the last item, which he will find his Quake medallion. Probably be somewhat happy to see it because you've got a 66% chance that you can get into Mire when you do get either the hook shot or the boots.
Yeah, it's not going to be a bad check for here at all. Oh, gets stuck in the quicksand, unfortunately. And, oh, that last item is in the very back, and he's not going to be able to mirror out. He might save and quit, though.
I think he probably will do a save and quit. Oh, nope. Because he really doesn't have anywhere in this area that he needs to go at this point.
So right now, I'm looking over the items, and I'm wondering what kind of troll possibilities could we have? Oh, yeah, and Pooh, you can't get out this way. You need to flute.
Yep. Toot, it's time to flute. Troll possibilities. Let's see.
Well, specifically, I try to look for what's possible on the pedestal.
Well, I know the biggest one that could be there.
The bow?
The bow, the hook shot could be there, depending on how Turtle Rock is situated with its keys. Let's see. Bombos could be there if Turtle Rock doesn't require it, but oh, we gotta check on Misery Mire. That looks like Quake, so never mind that idea. The mirror could potentially be there.
Now, it's worth noting that for Tower of Hera, we can gain access to Tower of Hera either with the hookshot or the mirror right now. So either one could technically be on the pedestal, but the other one then cannot be locked behind pedestal access.
Yep, that's correct. Did Vash skip the... I think Vash skipped the second chest you normally check because it doesn't have his flippers yet.
No, he doesn't. I think he... Interesting. Meanwhile, Pooh looks like he's on his way. He's going to do a Ice Palace dive.
I actually like this because you can tell right away if it's a hookshot locked dungeon, depending on if you get a key in that first chest or not. Oh, never mind. He's changing his mind. And Vash skipped that chest again.
That is really, really surprising here.
Yeah, and he's also skipping the key chest. That's, has to be the key no matter what. Even if you're in key sanity, that's required to be a key. So you don't have to force a save and quit out of that room.
So he burned a key that he actually is required by logic to need to get. And unless he's dipping down to get it, I mean, he very well could be looking for the flippers for a long, long, long time at this point.
Yeah, and makes the bomb jump but gets hit by the mini Moldorm. And POOBear is going to check Pyramid, but did not pick up the big bomb.
I wouldn't be surprised if he really doesn't think he can get the big bomb right now. He's only cleared 2 dungeons, but those are the 2 dungeons that you need.
Just $20 on the Pyramid, and he's debating on what to do. And yeah, Vash is skipping that chest one more time.
That's all kinds of not good. Oh, he's actually going to pick up this one in order to get the key. I wonder if he doesn't know his way around Skullwoods quite as well. I mean, that's a possibility. And he gets grabbed by Donald Trump's hand.
Which might be a good... Well, he's going to take a death here. GrandPOOBear is going to check Catfish for us. Nope, is going to... Nope, he is going to go up there this time.
Yep. Although now he has the key to get through the other direction, which is interesting. And Pooh finds just another heart container from the fish.
Saves and quits, so does not want to dive into pod at this moment.
I mean, he can do a pod dive. There's Thieves Town. Ice Palace, as you mentioned. We're quickly running out of item locations, though.
Yeah, it looks like I think he's thinking about that Ice Palace again, though. Yeah, and depending on how the keys are situated, this may not be hookshot locked, but if he doesn't find a small key in the very first chest, then I believe that dungeon, by logic, you can still finish it with bomb jumps, but by logic, it's locked behind hookshot then.
We also have to keep in mind that by logic could very well troll you and require, double and triple dips. So being able to do those small sequence breaks is certainly beneficial to your time, as long as you don't read too much into the routing of it.
Yeah, and at that point, even sequence breaking itself can be a valuable tool if you can keep the logic in your head. It's like, if I found this major item, it limits to where you can find the item you may be looking for to finish the seed at that point. And not having the hook shot to just kind of one-hit the penguins.
Yeah, these Pengators deal quite a bit of damage, but blue mail! Oh, he's got to be happy to see that.
French vanilla blue mail.
I can't comment. I have no idea how to respond to that.
Yeah, no, this is typically where you would find the blue mail in vanilla game, so.
Oh, that's... Oh, right. I get it. I get it.
Yeah,
It's
not
like
completely vanilla, but it's in its normal location.
That's French vanilla. Okay, I get it now. I'm a dummy.
And Vash sitting at 1 heart.
Vash really struggling through this Skull Woods here. You get the sense that he would really like to have that blue mail, but might also avoid dipping Ice Palace until he finds something like it. So who knows?
Who gets hit by that mini Moldorm, though.
Meanwhile, Pooh's still working his way through Ice Palace while we see Vash trying to collect some hearts here.
It does make it to full health.
I feel bad for these runners because getting over to this fire rod menu in the menu is a little bit difficult if you don't have perfect menuing.
Yeah, and I know GrandPOOBear is going to have to pay close attention to his magic usage right now because they don't have any potions whatsoever. So he's going to need a full bar of magic to even get into Gold Stair.
Pooh on his way over here to the iced tea room, so called because it's an ice palace and it's shaped like a tea. We're not always clever.
We have a key right there.
So what are we missing at this point in time for Pooh in Ice Palace? What haven't we checked?
I don't believe we've checked any of the hammer chests on technically the deepest part of the dungeon, even though it's really shallow. He could get there by avoiding the hookshot room. I think he's got to do a bomb jump to go back upstairs here.
Vash, gotta be careful. Oh,
Ooh,
clutch!
He gets the 1 heart clutch kill as well. Yeah, so GrandPOOBear does do the bomb jump, so he can kind of skip the hookshot room that he normally have to go through, but still, by logic, these chests are behind a hookshot.
Still, might find something valuable here, so we'll check and see what exactly Pooh finds. Meanwhile, Vash, with the heart refill after Mothula, moving on.
Yeah, and this has not been a very healthy seed considering, you know, they've got access to as many dungeons as they do. GrandPOOBear is just sitting at 10 hearts, even with Blue Mail. You're thinking about the Cold Stair fight. I think those puffs still hit for 3 hearts if they give you a tackle.
Yeah, the puffs deal quite a bit of damage, kind of regardless here.
All right, and I think that might be everything except Cold Stare.
Yeah, I think there's going to be one item left on Cold Stare. So if there's nothing from this point on in Cold Stare, then this was, I'm not going to say a waste of time, but feels inefficient. Worth noting that Pooh does have the Cane of Samaria, so doesn't really need to drop that block down. And I believe, oh man, he's going to be real close on that magic consumption, isn't he?
He will get, actually, he might be short.
I was just thinking that because he's sitting. I thought he would be good with the 2 pots there, except for he had to use the Cane of Samaria.
Yeah, he might be just short. He's probably hoping he doesn't get it.
And yeah, he's just short.
And he's gonna go down there. Unless he remembers.
It looks like he remembers. If he can go into the previous room, try to kill some enemies. Don't go, Pooh. Don't go.
He's up. Okay. Like he pulled the statue. It's like, I'm gonna go. It's like, don't do it. The only problem is, even with that pickup, he doesn't have enough now. He needed to farm that. He needed to farm that pickup before picking those 2 up. Oh wait, never mind. He got lucky.
Oh, and the magic disappeared because that Freezor trolled him.
Alright, Vash does make it in a hype cave, though. Picks up his hammer.
Oh, Pooh. I'm so sorry, Pooh.
So actually, Cold Stare might not have anything. Cold Stare might have a key.
That's right, because we need a key to be able to get through this particular area.
Yeah, as if he had a key, he'd be able to get in there for the blocks, which there is magic in there that he could use, but he'd still run into the same problem that he needs to use magic to get into Samaria. Oh, he's just gonna respawn.
Oh, Pooh. Poor Pooh. Meanwhile, we see Vash turning in the purple chest, and it's just 5 arrows.
Yep, nothing important.
And the issue that Pooh's going to have, no matter what, is because of... And there's a full magic container, but guess what, Pooh?
Yeah, he's gonna have to get lucky, because that should, I believe, going up and down the stairs, that should respawn. Or no, it doesn't. That's why you have to leave the dungeon. So yeah, he's gonna run into the same problem then. Oh, these came back though.
So these things are going to have to drop a magic pot in order... I mean, regardless.
Yep, no magic pot. Is he gonna go down? He's gonna go down anyways.
Oh, Pooh, this... All he had to do was bomb jump. All he had to do was bomb jump.
And Vash is making the same play that POOBear made, and he is heading into Ice Palace.
And Pooh looks like he's going to take a death out of here.
Yeah, very unfortunate death, because that is, you know, at this point you're going to have to come back in Ice Palace, and more than likely you'll do a bomb jump, or you don't even have to do the bomb jump because you've already unlocked everything. But, I mean, it is unfortunate about that. He's going to need to come back at some point, and, you know, if Vash manages their magic, they'll be able to clear it, which, don't think Cold Stare's going to have anything because we need that key, but it's kind of important that he'll have to come back here, so it was kind of a little bit of a loss of time.
Oh, and Vash also taking a death. Man, I wish these guys had some bottles. That's the problem at this point.
Yeah, they literally have no safeties. I mean, they have the cape, but other than that, they have absolutely no safeties. And near an ice palace, you're not going to be using the cape to get around monsters, because you know with no half magic, you need a full magic bar to kill Cold Stare.
And Pooh fluting away again on Top Death Mountain. We'll see. Does he have an idea of where he wants to go? The question really becomes, where is our progression? Because we haven't seen it yet, and it feels like we're really running out of locations.
Well, let's see here. We've got items in Thieves Town still. From the looks of it, it's not in Ice Palace. We've checked the Mire Shed, so it's not there. Swamp isn't open yet. Nobody's been to Pod. Pod is completely accessible. Nobody's checked Pyramid Fairy yet.
It feels like Pyramid Fairy has to be a play. The two dungeons that we could do almost from the beginning were the 5-6. So it feels like that has to be something.
Yeah, it really does feel like that's kind of the play that needs to be made, because usually at the 5-6 crystals, especially because you really don't need a lot to even get into those, clear those dungeons. You need the fire rod. We didn't even need boots, so all we needed was the book and the first mitts upgrade to get into desert and complete it, and a fire source, which we had the lamp. So a lot can be actually behind Pyramid Fairy right now.
Vash just looked like he dropped a bomb actually on this conveyor room, and he's out of bombs for this Ice Palace bomb jump.
Yeah, he's deciding against the bomb jump, which if you're going to full clear Ice Palace anyways, if you have Cane of Samaria, there's actually no reason whatsoever to do the bomb jump. Unless you can get it like the very first try, you're not saving time.
I mean, we say that, and Pooh demonstrated exactly why you would like to not use the Cane of Samaria.
Yeah, I mean, it does help, but the other thing about that is you are taking damage to get across, so if you're not comfortable with the bomb jump, especially with low hearts and no safeties whatsoever in this dungeon, it's, if you take a death, it's very costly at that point.
All right, and now Pooh, I imagine, since he just turned in Jeremiah, I believe he might be picking up the purple chest.
Yep, he's probably going to pick the purple chest up. We know nothing's there.
Or he makes a liar out of me, which is perfectly fine.
Maybe we're getting a check on Bumper Cave. I don't think either runner's done that yet.
That is a possibility. That's something that we hadn't taken into consideration, that we did get that cape. Nope, just $20.
Yeah, right now from the looks of Vash's run in Ice Palace, takes a fall there, unfortunately. He's going to need to get some magic drops, or he is going to be low on magic as well when he gets down to the bottom. Getting a check from POOBear on the map again, probably trying to figure out what he wants to do. And Vash is going to continue going upstairs, which is going to end up leading him Let's see, he'll use this key here. It's going to lead him to the hookshot room. And unless he can get the bomb on first try, then... Oh, or he'll try to bomb jump this.
He has no bombs, so...
Oh, yeah, that's right. So he can't go either way. He's kind of stuck at this point. GrandPOOBear is going to continue and come back to Thieves Town and check for these last 2 items.
I mean, that's a reasonable play, all things said. If you're really hunting around for items, you do know there's 2 down here. Thieves Town is a reasonably easy and quick dungeon. It's a worthwhile play.
Yeah, it is a worthwhile play. I know after this, the best location that I could think of to check would be grabbing the big bomb and seeing if anything's there, and then immediately head into pod at that point.
Yeah, pod could be a little bit nerve-wracking, especially because if it ends up being bow locked, depending on how the front end is laid out, then it can feel like a wasted check. But more and more recently, bowless pod isn't nearly as scary as it was back in, say, version 27, when just if you don't have the bow, don't bother going to pod.
Okay, and Vash is noping out of Ice Palace. He's heading to the Mire area and going to check the Mire shed. He's going to get his knowledge on the Quake for Mire, so it's open to us, but we can't really get in there because we still need a hookshot or some boots to be able to get across that first hole.
Which would you rather have at this point, hookshot or boots?
I would rather have hookshot because hookshot opens up so much more, and boots at this point, since you know desert's done, unless there's something in Bonkrux or King's Tomb, or you get that 1 in 22 chance that the big key's on the torch, you don't need boots anymore. All right, so one of the items was a heart piece. We don't have a key at this moment in time, which GrandPOOBear is going to go look at that chest anyways, or at least the door. So that means Blind will have our last item. And we'll see where Vash is going to head from here.
Looks like Vash might be making the play on Pyramid Fairy.
We'll see if he grabs the bomb or not. Nope, he is skipping the bomb as well.
Pooh on the blind fight.
Alright, so just the Ether Medallion was the only thing of value in Thieves Town, and we don't even know if that's going to be necessary, because we don't need to get into Mire. We don't know if it's required for Turtle Rock, but we don't even know if Turtle Rock's necessary in this seed at all.
Worth noting that Pooh also did end up picking up the Sanctuary Heart, which was on blind. Sanctuary Heart, of course, is the only heart container in the game that completely refills your hearts. It's the one heart that you pick up in the Sanctuary in the vanilla game. All the other heart containers in the game that are dropped by bosses don't actually trigger a full heart refill. Those heart refills you get are triggered by the pendants and the crystals.
Yes, and actually, I just thought about it. We haven't seen Spectacle Rock Cave yet. It's an hour into the seed, and we have yet to see this location.
Oh, and Pooh might be making a play onto Spike Cave?
Unless maybe we checked it earlier.
I don't think he did. Part of me wasn't wondering if he forgot that location. I don't know if Pooh has enough hearts for that. Oh, but he has the cape, so it's in logic.
Yep. Actually, no. Technically, this is out of logic. The cape you need a bottle or half magic for.
And it had nothing for us anyway.
But yeah, as far as pod, it was not bow locked because we're seeing Vash go further into the back. Alright, Pooh Bear, where are you going to go?
I really want to know what's in that spectacle rock cave. It's usually garbage, but I really want to know.
Yeah, unless he did check it and we just missed it earlier. I don't remember it being checked. Because the only time I remember anybody going to Death Mountain was him. He saved the old man and just kind of left. Getting a couple more checks on the vanilla big key chest, which has the vanilla big key.
Meanwhile, Pooh does look like he's on his way over to pod, so if this does indeed have something, then we'll have ourselves a race here. If not, then both of our runners are super confused.
Yeah, and I think if it's not, then it's got to be Pyramid Fairy.
Yeah, it's just got to be. I don't know. For me, that's one of the first checks I like to make because of the different things that could be hidden behind that. But I absolutely, at this point in time, if you've only cleared 2 or 3 dungeons, you don't think that you have Pyramid Fairy access. It's not even on your mind.
Yeah, nothing. You're not even thinking about Pyramid Fairy, and it's just like, as both runners have checked Pyramid, and it was their first check on Pyramid, so it would have been really convenient for them to just grab the big bomb on the way anyway, since you're going that way.
Next slide, please.
Yeah, it looks like the restream is frozen, but the Twitch channel itself is fine. Just a map in the first chest that we were kind of frozen at. The dark room, we had a key and another key. We do have a mirror, though.
Oh, that's quite nice. Mirror makes pod routing so much nicer, so you can just mirror right up to the front.
Yeah, and the biggest thing that does is that opens up Death Mountain. So there is a lot of value up there now.
Yeah, we'll have... I mean, we still won't have access to Hookshot Cave, but we'll have... And our first bottle!
And it's empty.
I don't think they care.
Yeah, probably not. They're like, I found one. I finally have some more safety. And 10 arrows.
So we have, let's see, 8 treasure chests up on Light World Death Mountain, plus the one on the floating island that they'll have access to if it's worth anything, plus 2 in Super Bunny Cave. Plus, if they find the Hookshot or the boots up there, they'll have at least access to 1 more in Hookshot Cave.
Yeah, so there's, let's see, 10, 11. There's 14 items, because there's also Harrah's opened up with the green pendant. So there's 14 potential items you could get up in Death Mountain at this moment in time.
So this seed, the entire time, has been kind of bottlenecked here, waiting for these runners to go to pod. I mean, we don't even know what's in Pyramid Fairy at this point in time. And at this point, it may not even matter unless it's something we require. They're both going to make a beeline up to that Death Mountain area. Or rather, they should. Oh, Vash checking sick kit. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, that does make sense to do this first. Wonder where else he's planning on checking though. Has he turned his mushroom in yet?
I don't think he has, despite having the flute, which makes the mushroom turn in pretty quick. I mean, if he wanted to, he could fake powder.
That's what I was thinking when he's fluting away to turn in the mushroom that we just spoke about, it looks like. So that at this point, GrandPOOBear has got to be thinking that. Oh, well, actually, no. The sand cart was on the witches. Or no, he talked to her. Never mind. I liked for a second there.
And here's Pooh going up the mountain. This is, as far as we know, the right play to make. And it looks like Vash is going to be right on his tail. So, despite an hour 15 into this race, these two are just kind of neck and neck right now.
Yeah, and I guess the main question is, if you were one of the runners, would you dip into Hera before checking everything else?
Wow, that's a yes, yes, I would. Hera's relatively fast, and pendant dungeons have too often led to something for me. So I think, just from observancy bias that I've had, I would go ahead and dive in there.
And it's a green pendant, so it's worth another item just for the time, too. But we finally did get the Spectacle Rock Cave check. It was 300 rupees, so nothing in there that's necessary. Oh yeah, that's right. We do have the book, so Ether Tablets open, so that was another item. Just a piece of heart, though.
And we'll see what decision Pooh makes here. Will he dip into Tower of Hera, or yes, he is.
Alright, so if there's nothing in here and Vash decides to skip this, this does put Vash probably ahead by a few minutes then. Or more, depending, because there's about a 50-50 shot that we gotta go to the basement right now.
And it's basement. And he goes, nope, ain't nobody got time for that.
Which that was interesting, just to kind of go in there, just like check. If I gotta go basement, I'm just gonna nope out of here. If I can go up without going basement, I'll continue on.
I think it's a worthwhile check, all things said. And we'll see. Oh, the floating island is just a piece of heart.
Vash also heads into Hera. See, now this will be huge for Vash. If something is actually in here now, whether it's one of the items or the green pendant, it might be a while, unless POOBear finds absolutely nothing on Death Mountain, if he decides to come back in here or not.
I have a hard time thinking we're just going to find nothing. I mean, I think worst case scenario is Pooh ends up finding the shovel, and that's it. Because off Death Mountain before coming back to check.
Yeah, and I think, like, the worst case scenario for POOBear in this case is he finds something like the bow or the hook shot, and Vash finds the
All right. We're still here, guys. We promise.
Yep, we are still here.
All right. Well, I'm keeping up a little bit here. Pooh did manage to find and half magic in Paradox Cave so far. As well as the powder.
All right, so nothing important as far as items. However, we could have access to Turtle Rock then.
We could, and here's nothing in Super Bunny Cave, and Vash does find the shovel.
Interesting, you mirrored out.
He mirrored out at the top of Tower of Hera because I think he found both items, but oh, that green pendant, man! When you commit to something like going into Tower of Hera when it's a green pendant, you got to take that full commitment because if something is there, then all you did was waste your time.
Yeah, I mean, if it was something like Misery Mire or something like that where you find all the items early, then it's a little different because there's a lot more time investment involved in that one item. But something like Hera, when you're at the big chest, you're looking at a minute to go up to Troll Dorm, assuming you don't get trolled too hard, to just get a green pendant at that point.
Yeah, I think at that point when you've committed yourself and you're that close, you just gotta do it. You gotta bite the bullet. I mean, leaving early is kind of hedging your bet that, okay, the necessary item that you could possibly get was the shovel, and it might lead to something. At the same time, I don't like the play. I can't say it enough. I don't like the play.
Yeah, I really don't like it myself either. Like I said, if it was a longer dungeon, you find the items early, I can see skipping out on it then because of the time investment, but it's something short like Hera and you're already up there, it seems kind of like you're just kind of gambling on that item not being there. And at that point, you got to follow the gamble all the way, and that's like the last place you're coming back to now at this point.
Now, Pooh is going to be able to check some of these other overworld locations that require the mirror while he's in the process of bringing Gary's lunchbox back to him.
Which, if I'm not mistaken, Vash already did Gary's lunchbox, and we didn't have anything there.
Unfortunately not. So we're still looking for a progression, and Death Mountain didn't have anything unless Vash did indeed find something with the shovel.
Also, we found powder, and I don't think GrandPOOBear has turned in powder yet. And checked Batman.
The Batcave would absolutely be a good check right now. Does look like he's going to mirror over and check the Bombos tablet, though, which is another solid check while he's in the area.
Yeah, it was kind of strange because it's like I saw him go to get the purple chest, and I originally thought he was going to check the powder while he was there, but he just kind of skipped out on it. Just a card container, though. So Vash is heading into Paradox Cave, where I believe we're going to find the Bombos medallion as well as half magic and powder.
I believe half magic was one floor below that we've already gotten it, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, he doesn't have it yet, so there's Bombos and bombs. There's half magic.
Yeah, there it is. Yep.
And powder. So GrandPOOBear is going to dive back into Ice Palace now with half magic, more hearts. Has the blue mail from Ice Palace on his earlier visit. But
So he's looking
bow,
for revenge right now. But
yeah, but that bow and that hook shot are still eluding us. And at this point, you have to think that it's either one of these fetch quest items like the shovel or the powder that we need to do, or the only thing that I can think Vash is doing by going back up here is checking Turtle Rock. Because Turtle Rock at this point is completely open. Not clearable because we're missing an ice rod, but you can get into and get all the way to Laser Bridge now.
I mean, when in doubt, you know, Pendant Turtle Rock always seems to have something. You know, unbiased myself, I like a Pendant Turtle Rock dip here and there, but it just locks so much. And let's see what Vash is doing.
Or he might not have checked Spiral Cave yet. Or is he going back to Hera?
He might be going back to Hera. That's something.
Or Spike Cave, potentially. Nope, he is. Okay, yeah, that is interesting that he's coming back here after not finding anything. Or, you know, not finding anything that's apparent progression. A couple fetch quests, but nothing that just screams, here's the bow or here's the hook shot, go to these dungeons.
Yeah, we'll see what ends up happening here. If something is here, I mean, it's absolutely good news for Vash. I still kind of wish he would have finished it, but he's coming back to finish it. So that's fine.
Yeah. GrandPOOBear, doing the Ice Palace bomb jump, kind of questionable since you've already full cleared the dungeon. You've opened the big key door, you've opened the small key to get down to the basement. You have half magic at this point. There's really no reason to do that bomb jump.
No, and he realizes it, and he's like, okay, we'll go ahead and do it now.
But yeah, it very well could be that Pyramid Fairy has go mode right now. Because she could have the bow and the hook shot just sitting there this whole time.
And we've been talking about that for the past 45 minutes.
Yeah, it's maybe not quite that long, but yeah, they've had those dungeons cleared for at least a good half hour, I think, at this point. Gets the compass off of Trolldorm and picks up that green pendant. So I imagine if Vash doesn't go over to Turtle Rock, open Turtle Rock and dip in, that I'm just going to go turn this pendant in right away at this point.
I mean, when you've committed to that kind of play, I think you go ahead and commit. And he's going to go ahead and do it, looks like. Or at least fluting away.
Flutes to 4. Shovel location first? No?
Oh, he might be making the Pyramid Fairy play.
That's what I hope. I really want to see what she has. With as long as she's been available and we've just kind of constantly skipped over her, I have a feeling she's going to just be like all mad with us and be like, yeah, I've had these items the whole time.
My headcanon is actually she's now going to hold junk. And she would have had awesome items if we went there sooner. She's like, no, green rupees for you now. I'm not important enough for you, huh?
Yeah, she just kind of shows up after you pick up both chests. It's like, you know, I had the bow and the hook shot for your go mode, but you skipped over me so much, I just threw them somewhere in the world. I don't know where they are now. Go find them.
Meanwhile, Pooh does finish off Cold Stare, and yep, you were right. It's that one key that he does pick up finally, our third crystal.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've gotten a crystal. Actually, the last crystals we've gotten were those 5-6 crystals, so, geez. And I think if you're the runners right now, you're looking for these 2 items. You want to find the bow before you find the hook shot.
Oh, absolutely. Because bow means you can go ahead and do Eastern Palace. It means you can finish a pod. Finding the hook shot means that you're likely going to have to full clear Swamp Palace. And that's not something you really want to do.
Is GrandPOOBear is actually going to make the Swamp Palace play.
And Pyramid Fairy...
Bunch of money.
Bunch of money.
Or no, GrandPOOBear is not making the Swamp Palace play, just went in there to drain the swamp. Oh, he didn't go to the Dark World first.
So he's going to have to do all that again. Oh, poo. I mean, I don't... We'll see if this ends up paying off. It's kind of a gamble at this point in time. He's got to be wondering where his progression is, though. Can't really do anything else in Pod or Eastern Palace. He could do Tower of Hera, but we know nothing is there.
Well, maybe. We're about to get a green pendant check from Vash here in just a moment. And we'll see where Vash heads after this, assuming this is nothing. Oh, just the blue boomerang.
Oh, man. I hate to say it. Turtle Rock, anyone?
Yeah, because right now it's either one, because we haven't checked Powder or Shovel yet. Both the fetch quests haven't been done. Could potentially be Swamp or Turtle Rock at this point. And Vash looks like they might be making the same play into Swamp, potentially.
You get the sense that these guys just don't want to do Turtle Rock. So they've already been up there. Just something they really want to kind of avoid at this point in time, even though it's in logic. And Turtle Rock has been so frequently has something. It just with all of the treasures that you can get on there, 5 plus the Mimic Cave, so a total of 6 treasures. Feels like it's a play that you need to make.
Yeah, and I think if POOBear doesn't find anything here, he's going to make the play up to Turtle Rock at that point. The only thing that would hurt POOBear, I believe, is if Vash goes to check the shovel after this, and there's something in the shovel, you know, like a hook shot, then that would put POOBear probably behind by quite a bit, because the shovel is inside of Hera.
You're absolutely right. I mean, that shovel in Hera is a big question mark right now, and it could be the only real value that we got in that Tower of Hera. Vash also looks like he's going to be doing this Bat Cave check, which we haven't checked as well.
Yeah, and I think what Vash might be thinking right now is, as late as it is, I'm not finding anything. You know, what is my opponent going to do last? And typically a lot of people, you know, these one-off locations, they're going to go for the higher density chests. Now, I'm not going to go check the magic powder. I'm going to go check shovel now. And if we find something here, which we've only got 20 bucks there, so that just leaves the shovel now.
So really, I mean, it's down to, well, there's 3 plays. I mean, checking the overworld locations, which is what Vash is doing. Checking, you know, hook shotless Swamp Palace, which Pooh is doing, and then Turtle Rock is the other play. We still can't do Misery Mire, although Checkerboard Cave is in logic now that we have the mirror, which might be interesting.
Yeah, and Vash is... I wonder what Vash is doing. Maybe checking Graveyard? Because he's going away from Shovel, and we haven't checked Shovel still.
He's playing Ring Around the Rosie.
But yeah, it just seems like, because if right now everything we found on Death Mountain has led to nothing. every item has been completely worthless so far, and the only one we're not sure of at this point is the shovel. So I really feel like if that shovel does not lead to something, that the whole point of getting the Death Mountain access like it did was you need to go to Turtle Rock now.
Vash doing the hammer pegs. I believe Pooh did check this earlier, and I don't believe we have anything here.
Yeah, POOBear did check this, and there was not anything of value here.
All right, nothing on the first treasure chest on the left side. Now Pooh is over here on the other left side treasure chest.
Yep, and the last chest he can check, if it's not a hook shot, he's got to leave. That's just a map.
That's about the last thing you want to see there.
Yeah, and Vash going south looks like is probably going to make the play on the shovel now. Oh, and he's going to check the cave south of Grove, which I believe GrandPOOBear already did when he was doing his purple chest check.
Yep, and it's just a heart piece. Vash is going to go ahead and pick that up. Pooh looks like he's going over here to Checkerboard Cave, though.
Yep, that's the only place that's really accessible here.
I mean, if this is something, this is maximum troll at this point.
Yeah, it's really, you know, at this point we know it was more than likely a forced double dip in a pod. Nope. So yeah, every item we found then on Death Mountain had no value at all.
And that doesn't have anything in Checkerboard Cave. The play is Turtle Rock.
That pendant Turtle Rock.
I mean, it's kind of an old meme at this point in time, but it holds true so often. If Turtle Rock is a pendant, just be prepared to dive into Turtle Rock, because you're gonna have to.
Yep, ignore the pendant Turtle Rock at your own risk. Because I could completely see Turtle Rock at this point having go mode.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. There are so many treasure locations in there. Now, it's not a fast dungeon in any stretch of the imagination. Everything's pretty well spread out. A couple dips in and out with some save checkpoints. It's not an easy dungeon, and it wasn't designed to be. But at this point in time, I think it's the only option these guys have.
Yeah, and the potentially nobody's checked yet, and we've had the book. It could still be Pedestal Seed if they find Ice Rod in Turtle Rock.
I think that's what you don't want to see. You do not want to see Ice Rod in Turtle Rock. Pooh is making the play over here.
And Vash has to be making the same play because Vash has nothing else to check up here other than Turtle Rock.
So if you're Pooh, it doesn't necessarily apply to Vash because he's already defeated Tower of Hera. But if you find the Ice Rod in here, do you go ahead and clear Turtle Rock and then just say, nah, it's got to be on the pedestal, go right over to Tower of Hera and clear that for your last pendant?
You know, if I'm tracking my locations at this point and I have nowhere else to look, if I find the Ice Rod here and I don't find Boar or Hookshot, then yes, I'm immediately going over to Hera. I already have 2 items there anyways that I've skipped. So it's like, I'll check to see if it's there and not going to find it and just clear the dungeon at that point because you've already cleared Thieves Town if you're GrandPOOBear. At that point, you have cleared Trinex and Turtle Rock. You might as well just blind pull the pedestal.
And blind pull it, absolutely. You don't even, oh, no, Pooh, don't go that way. Don't. Oh, Pooh.
And we're going to get the lap of shame.
I need a sound effect for this. This is like the Price is Right fail. What?
That doesn't work, Pooh Bear. They need to be on the screen. Is he going to try again?
Don't burn your magic, Pooh.
I understand you have half magic, but that does run out eventually. Actually, he probably would have made it the way he just did it.
It was close, absolutely. I wonder if he realizes that you can go the other way. Oh, he made it. Okay.
Okay, so you can make it through that way. You just kind of have to do a little tricky. We'll see if Vash decides to go the same way. Yes, he does. And believes
I mean,
that
it's absolutely understandable because, like, when you're doing this, you expect to have the hook shot.
Oh, Vash has the... Wait, Vash has the hook shot.
Wait, where? Huh?
Wait.
Where?
Where?
Oh, is it in this one? It's got to be in this treasure chest.
It has to be. I think GrandPOOBear skipped it.
Yeah, there it is. Okay.
Okay, I was just like, how did I miss a hook shot? So yeah, Turtle Rock.
Turtle Rock, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, and I don't blame them for just continuing at this point. It would be a gamble to leave Turtle Rock at this point. You've already put it off. You still have what, 4 more items in here because I think it was just 2 keys on the fire rod locked room.
Yeah, that's not even counting Mimic Cave, which can have another item for you. So.
Yeah, so this would be kind of, you know, it would be a gamble leaving it because really you opened up Swamp Palace and Hookshot Cave. Really, which, you know, maybe you make the play. It's like, I'll go check Hookshot Cave first because I've got 4 items there. And then if I don't find the boy, just come right back in.
Oh, Vash is struggling here with this chain shop room.
He gets through it though. Ooh, barely gets through it. I'm probably going to powder this anti-fairy. The one nice thing about Turtle Rock when you have powder is you usually don't have to worry too much about deaths, and we have boots.
Boots in the vanilla big key chest location. I mean, that's nice. It opens up a couple more locations. Bonk Rocks, King's Tomb. If he really wants to, he can go back and get that full heart in Desert Palace, but I don't anticipate that.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. I think the nicest thing that the boots does, other than the fact that, you know, you can go through the seed faster, is it gives you that peace of mind about the Ganon Tower torch.
I mean, and I think as speedrunners, just instinctively, we want to go fast. So it's just a peace of mind from that perspective. It's like, oh, I can go fast now.
It's a race now. I have boots.
Yeah, before it was just a warm up. Oh, I have boots now. I can go fast.
Vash picks up his boots. And Pooh Bear is going to give us our Mimic Cave check. Now the question becomes more interesting. If you don't find the bow here, you get to the end, but you find Ice Rod, do you still go kill Trinex? Even if Trinex doesn't have an item.
I would. I absolutely would, because right now I'm worried about that pedestal. Bow, I mean, Eastern Palace and Palace of Darkness by themselves. Yeah, I do it. I do it. I don't know if that's necessarily the right play, but I think if it is the pedestal, you would waste a ton of time having to go through all of Turtle Rock again. And I don't know if that's worth it myself.
Yeah, I guess the one interesting thing, you know, something that I might have done myself in this case, before going up to Turtle Rock, knowing I need to go to Turtle Rock, and my progression is going to be in Turtle Rock. Something has to be in Turtle Rock. Is going and checking the pedestal first to see if it's a pedestal seed, because then you know if it's not a pedestal seed, it doesn't matter if you find Ice Rod here or not. It's like I don't need Trinex at this point anymore unless he has an item.
I think that would have been a fair check. You do that beforehand, although you didn't have the boot, so it was like a minute commitment there. Sometimes maybe you hope you get some sort of guidance on your way, but I mean, I certainly probably would have made the check as well. So GrandPOOBear, no keys, is approaching the laser bridge. I don't know what other dungeon items we have. Well, at least one of these is going to be a key. Oh God,
Map
he's
and
got
compass
map.
are available too. So well, there's map. There's the key. Butter sword. So the real question is, Trinex, do you have an item?
I mean, Buttersword Trinex is actually a really nice and easy fight at this point in time.
I mean, unless, well, Trinex won't have an item if we can kill him, because this would have to be Ice Rod.
Oh, true. Okay, what do we have? Other than a death. Boom!
Oh,
What?
that pendant Turtle Rock. So we've officially entered Go mode.
Absolutely, we have. That's getting us through Swamp Palace. It's getting us through Eastern and Pod and Misery Mire, because we have both the boots and the hookshot. So just to recap, we found Buttersword, boots, hookshot, bow. 4 of the 5 items in Turtle Rock were awesome.
Yeah. And I want to say the other one was a bottle with a fairy, maybe. Because they have a third bottle, and I think it picked up in here.
I think that was in Mimic Cave, and I think that was a
Okay.
B.
Well, that's still Turtle Rock, so.
Yeah, I mean, still, we're talking. That was an amazing. That's probably one of the most loaded pendant Turtle Rocks I've ever seen.
Vash gets his bow right away. Is going to keep. Wonder if he's going to continue checking, though, because he should know he's in Go mode now.
He should, and he has tempered. Yeah, he might be ducking out and be like, "Nah, I'm good."
Yeah, he's going to duck out. Which I don't blame him. I mean, you're in Go mode. And unless you're really. I mean, the difference between Tempered and Buttersword isn't huge. But it does kind of put Vash in a disadvantage right now, because he does have to go back to Ice Palace to clear it. GrandPOOBear already made that call, went back and cleared it. So GrandPOOBear is basically a dungeon ahead right now.
Yeah, and he's a dungeon ahead in Go mode, which is a very different sort of mindset that you put yourself in. When you're in Go mode, no more checking treasure chests, no more having to think. It's just play. Let muscle memory take over and go as fast as you can.
Yeah, at this point, you're not even thinking logic. It's especially, I mean, you've got, the only thing you'd be looking for right now is Buttersword, which we know we're not going to find, and Red Mail. That's really all you need.
Makes me kind of wonder what Pooh is looking for right now.
Yeah, I mean, he got the one key he needed. And he has, I mean, because they've had silvers for a good long while now.
Yeah, Pooh is really in a good spot right now, whereas Vash will be going through here. We shall see what exactly happens. I think you're right. Vash will have a little bit more difficult of a time because he has all of Ice Palace to do. Now it's Go mode Ice Palace, so it's pretty nice.
Yeah, it's still going to be quick. It's just he does have to go back in there, whereas GrandPOOBear doesn't. So Pooh Bear's got, I would say, Go Mode Ice Palace is about 4 to 5 minutes, maybe, if that. So probably about a 4 to 5 minute lead, a little bit more because Vash has to, go get the bow lock key first. So maybe like 6 or 7 minute lead right now. Because outside of this, they have to go clear Eastern, which is just going to be a mirror and then a run right to Armos. It's a Go Mode Swamp for Vash and GrandPOOBear. GrandPOOBear's already cleared it, though, with the exception of what was behind Hookshot. And then a Go Mode Misery Mire, which really isn't much quicker than a normal one. It's just depending on where the big key is.
Yeah, Misery Mire is going to be the big question. How efficiently can they route that, and where's going to be that gamble for the big key there?
Yeah, that could make up time. The other main thing that could make up time would be a major time difference would be, if the big key's in tile room and Vash decides, I'm just going to check tile room right away, and it ends up being there, that would be a huge time gain, which would probably actually really even this race out almost.
And Pooh pulls out the silvers, but remembers 2 slashes with the butter sword is good enough. And Helmasaur is down. Meanwhile, Vash is on his way to the back end. The last item, 50 rupees, is pulled.
Yeah, and all I can say is blame muscle memory on that. It's like you have silvers when you go to King Helmasaur, you're just so typically used to, his mask broke, on pause. I'm going to my item menu, switching to the bow, and sending an arrow right between his eyes. But GrandPOOBear is heading in Eastern to make his way directly to Armos.
Yeah, this is going to be about the fastest Armos fights that I think anyone's just about ever seen. Armos with silvers is one of those blink and you'll miss it sorts of fights.
Yeah, I think the only fight that really comes close to it, if you can get the 1 cycle or 0 cycle Land Molus, and even Vitreous with silver arrows is extremely quick as well.
Vash now on his Helmasaur King. Meanwhile, Pooh is on his way into the back for Ice Armos, or regular Armos, not Ice Armos. What am I talking about? So if you were Vash, I mean, of course, Vash has no idea where Pooh is at this point in time. If you're either of these runners, do you hunt for Red Mail Buttersword? Or do we think that these runners will hunt for those last couple items?
I could see Vash hunting a little bit more than GrandPOOBear because he's missing Buttersword, whereas GrandPOOBear is really the only thing he would want at this point is Red Mail. So I really don't see GrandPOOBear opening up anything other than chests he absolutely needs to, like just completely even skipping things that are on the way. Whereas Vash, I could see opening chests that are on the way looking for the Buttersword, and if he gets Red Mail on the way, then nice. But as soon as you see Buttersword, it's like, I'm done.
Problem is, we know he's not going to find it. So, because we know that last Buttersword is there on the laser bridge.
Yep. But that was crystal number 5 for GrandPOOBear. So he's just got to head to him. He's going to do Misery Mire first.
Maybe he got a little over anxious.
Yeah, maybe just a little bit. Let's try that again. Okay, going to Misery Mire.
So the question is, I know Pooh has talked about not being quite up to date on Misery Mire routing and things of that nature. So I wonder if he's gotten any practice in to be able to figure out Misery Mire routing, seen some other races, and how to best route this. Because he's mentioned on his stream in the past that he struggles with it from time to time. So we'll see if he's improved at all.
Yeah, I know definitely, watching the streams, especially with the more experienced runner, that's usually the best way to learn it because they're going to typically route it the same way every time and do the most optimal routing. I know the main thing, and I learned this recently on Christos Owen's stream, he mentioned about the big key that is if you find a small key on the chest that's locked behind the 4 torches, that the big key, and you haven't found the big key yet, the big key is going to be in its vanilla location 100% of the time.
Huh. I did not know that. Riot Shield!
Because why not? Let's make the Ganon's tower climb even easier with those red mimics.
I mean, why not? Might as well. Pooh pulling out cape strats, and yep, going into the wrong door there. Talking a little bit there about his Mire routing. Meanwhile, Vash look like he's going over to Ice Palace. Remember, Ice Palace is the one that GrandPOOBear did fully clear already. So going somewhere that Pooh's just going to allow him to catch up quite a bit more time here.
Yeah, and this was the major difference between the two of them. So this is, before it didn't look like they were too far behind as far as where they were running, but this is where we're going to see the difference in time now.
And with that half magic, Vash is going to be able to skip that bomb jump a whole lot easier than I think GrandPOOBear was as well.
Yes. So yeah, no big key yet, so we'll see what's on this chest that's behind the torches. There's the big key.
And real heads up play, he knows that there's a way over here to the final location. Misery Mire is very weird in that it has kind of 2 different ways to route yourself towards the back end of it.
Yeah, but going off that, it definitely looks like he's been paying attention to Misery Mire routing and been working on it.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that was very, I'm not going to call it flawless, but it was kind of standard Misery Mire routing. So exactly what you would want to see from Pooh.
Yeah, the only thing that was different was he went and checked he went south from the door. You got to hit the switch in the middle of the spikes. That's about it. Other than that, it was pretty much optimal routing that you typically see. Vash is going to try for the bomb jump, it looks like.
Doesn't quite get it. Let's see what he's lining up here.
Yeah, I think it was like a pixel too high.
Yeah, there's several different ways to line up this Ice Palace bomb jump. You do have to be pretty close, but then, depending on... I end up using the sword, which can absolutely backfire on you, but you want to have, when you have the tempered sword, you want to have be up against the wall when you place the bomb, and then have 1 pixel in the gap between the bomb shadow and your sword. And with Vash, that's not good placement there at all. He's resetting it. Okay. Problem is, you have to be very lower. Yeah, he needs to be a lot lower than that.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he has a safety or not. Not sure if he has a potion. Because if he misses it on this next attempt, he's gonna have to. Okay, he does have a blue potion.
Meanwhile, Pooh is on his way over to the final dungeons, a Go Mode Swamp Palace. This will be very quick for him.
Yeah, it was a very clean, vitreous fight. Yeah, he's got to be lower.
Got to be lower, yeah. Meanwhile, Pooh's on his way. He's going to make very, very quick work here.
Yeah, he's going to decide to skip the bomb jump. And that bomb jump by no means is easy. I know some runners make it look like it's a very easy bomb jump. You can probably ask them, they've put plenty of practice into that bomb jump just so they can get it on first attempts and things like that.
Yeah, I mean, that's a bomb jump that runners have on muscle memory at that point in time, and it takes a lot of practice to do so. It is one of the first bomb jumps that once you start running randomizer and no major glitch runs, that you should absolutely learn. So there are like 8 different ways to set that up. So if you're interested in running, certainly look up the tutorials. They're absolutely available out there. Meanwhile, Pooh is already in the inner sanctum and picking up this last key, and will be on his way to the back end of Swamp Palace.
Yep. Don't think he has the big key yet, but even if he does, like I said, probably not worried about it at this point. And I don't know where Vash is actually going right now.
I don't know either.
Oh, okay, to get some. Which there was an anti-farrier. He's gonna have to be careful though. Oh.
Oh, taking a death. There's anti-fairies the other direction too.
Yeah, on a non-slippery floor too.
All right, so that resets Vash back to the beginning, and GrandPOOBear running right by treasure chests. Yeah, he's in go mode. He knows it. This is going to be very quick here.
Yeah, I can tell that he's not worried about red mail whatsoever, or he'd be checking these chests.
And GrandPOOBear starts his Argus fight for his 7th crystal. Oh, he started doing poke strats. That's impressive. And did you miss it? Pooh with his win, and he gets red mail.
Oh, there's the red mail.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, with that, GrandPOOBear is on his way up to Ganon's Tower. You know what time that means. It's everyone's favorite randomizer game. There are 22 chests in Ganon's Tower that could possibly contain the Ganon's Tower Big Key. 1 through 22, go ahead and get your guesses in chat. We do not have the same game emotes and setups as we do on the speed gaming channels. So your reward will not be a spot on the leaderboard, but it will be my love and affection for you all. I don't want to promise Herfy Durfy's love and affection because Herfy's not here.
Last I checked, he was out of love and affection too. He's running low on it these days.
That's fair. So I'll substitute mine. It's a poor substitute, but it's worth it. Sir Lakelot, what's going to be your guess?
I'm going to go with 13 on this run. What about you?
I'm going to stick with my old standby number 8. That is traditionally, if you do normal routing, the fire bar room.
And Vash is down to 1 heart, so he's going to have to be careful here.
Not going to be able to drop down, unfortunately, to get those fairies.
Oh! And this Stalfos Knight drops on him.
Now that is unfortunate, Vash, and he's, contemplating his life's decisions. What led him to this point? Meanwhile, we see GrandPOOBear entering Ganon's tower, and he's going to start with the right side, traditional start.
Yep, see if there's a small key here, and we'll see if there is a small key. We'll see if he continues right side. Yes, he will continue. Okay.
Oh, that's dangerous. That's dangerous.
Yeah, that is dangerous.
If you do not find all the keys, you have to start going up Ganon's tower with at least 1 key. We've seen in the past runners try to cheat and use that door. I can think of one runner in particular. I'm not going to name names, but you can say that races have been lost because they started going up Ganon's tower without a key then.
Yeah, I won't name names either. I know chat's bringing out some names, but I'm not going to repeat those names.
It's a gamble. It's absolutely faster. It is absolutely faster, and no one's arguing that. But man, that's a gamble. We'll see if it pays off for Pooh.
Yeah, it's definitely a gamble, and it does save time, but it doesn't save a huge amount of time. Alright, Vash is heading back down Ice Palace on the way to Cold Stair. GrandPOOBear is looking for his key. And we have seen chest 8 so far. We're on chest 9 will be next.
I lose. It's okay.
Okay, 9 is Piece of Heart.
Next comes what we call the randomizer room. So called because the only time you ever check it is in randomizer. It's absolutely worthless at this point in time in the vanilla game.
Alright, so this is going to be 10 through 13. There's 1 key. Got a Piece of Heart. Big key on 12. Oh, I was 1 away. Only if we would have opened them differently.
And more importantly, he does happen to have 1 key going up, so and it was right in the one next to him too.
Yeah, he got lucky.
All right, so now GrandPOOBear on his way up through the gauntlet. Red Mail, Butter Sword, Riot Shield, Silver Arrows. Is it possible to be any more decked out when you're going up?
We could just have a full inventory and call it a day, but, that means hunting for an ice rod, and I don't think anybody has time for that.
I mean, it is worth noting that he only has 15 hearts, and 15 hearts when we're at 2 hours and 10 minutes is a relative sickly scene, all things said.
Yeah, I know we know where one of the heart containers is because it's on the torch in Desert Palace. And Vash does make it to Cold Stare. It's going to use the Bombos Medallion to break him out of that ice.
He got the initial spin to get him into the corner, but then had to back off a little bit because of poor, ice block placements.
One puff down. GrandPOOBear is making really quick work of the gauntlet. And there's a second puff. And down goes Cold Stare for Vash.
Clutch fight ends it with 4 hearts. That is not much on Cold Stare because he can do a lot of damage very, very quickly.
Yeah, I think it's 3 hearts with the blue mail, so he could only survive 1 more hit. GrandPOOBear is going to be doing his Landmolus refight. Vash is either going to be heading towards Swamp or Misery Mire after this.
Now, Pooh almost with the 0 cycle there, gets 2 of them down and at least 1 hit with the Butter Sword.
Alright, down goes the Landmolus refight, so we're going to continue our way up the tower to probably the most rooms that runners just love to be, because it's just so nice when you get these blocks. The satisfaction when you get the 3 kills with the Cane of Samaria.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be perfectly honest. When I ran this game as a kid, I didn't even think that the Cane of Samaria could be used in that sort of way. So, nice.
Yeah, I just thought it was meant to hold blocks down. That's all I thought it was good for.
Pretty much. And then you join an online community and you learn what life is really like.
Alright, and Vash heads into Misery Mire.
That Murderdactyl is just kind of hovering, waiting to deal some damage.
Apparently he did take damage as well, because he immediately lost hearts as soon as the animation for Quake was done.
There's the ice rod.
Well, you said what more could you want? Let's just check one chest and find the ice rod. Why not?
The only chest he checks afterwards, like, what? All right, Pooh's getting ready to start his Trolldorm. I would say his Trolldorm 2 fight, but he didn't actually kill Trolldorm 1, so.
But down goes the Trolldorm. And no trolling necessary.
All right, so Pooh is on his way up. This is the final Hellway, which can absolutely troll runners. This is one of the worst rooms in the game. And he is on his way to Aghanim 2. Oh my god, that was a horrible first placement
Yeah, I was gonna
for
say,
Aghanim.
that was terrible placement.
Remember, the Aghanim fights are going to be identical for both runners. His placement is the same and dependent on the seed. There's some fights like Mothula that it isn't necessarily the same, that it's truly more randomized, but Aghanim fights and Ganon fights with his teleportation will absolutely be the same for both runners.
they're getting a little desynced now, so it's going to be harder to pull the doubles and triples, but there's a 6th hit. So Ego 2 is down, off to Ganon.
Yep, it's time to make some blue bacon.
Yeah, we got the perfect sword for it. We got that butter sword.
Blue buttered bacon. Sounds like we need to write a new cookbook. Blue buttered bacon.
All right, so we're off to Ganon. We got 6 hits for phase 1 and 2, 4 hits for phase 3, and then since we've got silvers, it's going to be 4 silver arrows to take down the big.
GrandPOOBear going to town on Ganon right now. Red Mail, he's using his hook shot for some iframes right now, doing quite well. Vash, meanwhile, does get the big key, so he's on his way back to Vitreous.
Yep, and we're in phase 3 on GrandPOOBear's side. Already 1 strike, so I just need 3 more.
Not a ton of teleportation so far for Ganon, and I probably just jinxed Pooh, but that's okay.
So there, we're in phase 4. Gets the torch glitch.
Very nice. He'll be in good position right now.
Single arrow is going to need to light the torch again.
One more torch lighting, and oh, and hi, Ganon's just right here for you. There's 4.
Yep, there's 4. So GG to GrandPOOBear.
And he is preparing to enter, and he enters with an official SRL time of 2 hours. It's not SRL, Speed Racing TV time of 2 hours, 16 minutes, and 46 seconds. And yeah, spam those emotes in chat. GG GrandPOOBear with his first tournament win.
Yep, and in the meantime, we'll see if maybe we can get GrandPOOBear in here for a interview. Vash is going to be killing up Vitreous, and then heading over to Swamp Palace.
And joining us now is GrandPOOBear. GG on your first win, sir.
Hey, man, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. That was a rough seed there for a second. I was getting a little worried, and then Turtle Rock was the be all end all right there.
Yeah, I don't know if anyone here has seen a pendant Turtle Rock have all the goods like it did there.
Yeah, I for a while I didn't think. Like, I thought that was, I don't know, like, I was obviously trying to avoid Turtle Rock, which I'm assuming Vash was too, because literally everything was there. And, like, I even did a dip in Swamp, like, hoping for a hook shot in Swamp, like, just kind of hoping. And that was not the play. That was the one thing I really regret, was going to Swamp instead of just going to Turtle Rock, because the game like at that point the game gave us all 3 pendants and they wanted us to be in Turtle Rock. So, but it was a hard, I mean, like you had a double dip EP, you had a double dip Palace of Darkness. Like it was an interesting seed, I would say. Yeah,
it was absolutely rough. One place that you didn't check, and Sir Linkalot and I were just like screaming, someone check it, please. I don't know if you know, the Pyramid Fairy was available like the first 2 dungeons that you cleared. The 5-6 one.
I don't, you know, I didn't even think about checking Pyramid Fairy. Like Pyramid Fairy to me is always like very like last resort, but I didn't even think about that with the red. I did, you're totally right. The first 2 dungeons gave us red crystals. That, oh man, I need to look at that more, because that, I can't believe, did Vash check it at all, or like?
He did. It was nothing, so it didn't hurt you guys at all. So
yeah, Vash checked it. It was just like both of you went, you had the crystals, and both of you took the same route to go check Pyramid and Catfish and Pot. It's just like you're walking right by the bomb shop. And you're going to Pyramid anyways. It's like you could check it while you're there, but it's like typically the first 2 crystals you get are not going to be your 5-6 crystals.
Yeah, I need to do a better job of just like, you know, go into menu and checking that, you know, if I'm already over there. That's something that I need to add onto my list of double checks. But yeah, I mean, it was a really hard seed. Just getting mirrors so late made it like really difficult to maneuver around the map. Honestly, it was very, very difficult.
speaking of that bomb shop, did you realize at any point in time that when you were out of bombs in Hype Cave that there was that bomb shop right up there?
No, but that was an embarrassing moment that I had, and I didn't even think about the fact that the bomb shop is right there. That was definitely an embarrassing moment, but I also knew that like I would have another chance to come back there anyway, so it wasn't like the worst thing. But Hype Cave did have hammer, so it was like it was definitely a significant time loss right there. Yeah.
I mean, and it wasn't horrible. So you did get up there,
Yeah.
and it was right around the same time Vash was hitting it up. Let me see. Was there any point in time that you felt like, hey, I made this gamble, it really paid off? Like, it felt like you were ahead the whole time?
Well, I didn't feel like I was ahead the whole time because, like, I not until I went to Turtle Rock did I think like, oh, this is gonna work out. But when I did the first dip into Eastern and got golden, and the first dip into Pod and got mirror, really the dip into Pod was like a huge thing for me. Because getting mirror at that point like really opened up a lot of the map and gave us access to Death Mountain, which at the end of the day was what we needed, you know, because we needed to get hookshot, we needed to get bow, like we needed those things, and of course boots were just in there just for, you know, to really exclamation point how good Turtle Rock was for us today. So yeah, I mean, like when I dipped into Pod and got mirror, I thought like, okay, this is what the seed wanted me to do. Like I said, the only really play that I felt like, other than like dumb things that I'm learning, like, because I think this is my 12th seed now, and like dumb things that I'm learning, like Hype Cave, like going to get bombs would have been obviously a much smarter decision. But the only really bad like routing decision I feel like I made, other than like something stupid like that, was going to the swamp instead of just going to Turtle Rock, because the game wanted us to go to Turtle Rock. Like everything was saying, go to Turtle Rock. You have all 3 coins. You can go there, you know, so. I don't know.
And I wouldn't even necessarily call it a bad play. That has been the play multiple times this tournament where...
Yeah,
hey,
that's the other thing. I've
swap.
seen a lot of seeds have, like, I've seen like 4 seeds this tournament have hookshot in swamp. And that was kind of like my thought was like, oh, well, I've seen this a lot. Like I've seen where this is going. So, you know, it was a gamble, and either way, I think. So, 6 one way, half a dozen the other. Did I lose you guys?
No, we're still here.
Okay.
We're at this point, we're like, you know, what else do we have to talk
Yeah,
about
well,
this season?
So chat does want to know, because you know you weren't checking any chests until the top of Ganon's tower, and you checked 1 chest. How do you feel about the ice rod being in the 1 chest you checked?
Well, I thought that was pretty funny. I didn't even mean to check that chest. I just accidentally held up and it was hitting A. I don't know. It was just like one of those things. It's like, I'm right there. I might as well check it. And then I was, at that point you had to validate too. So, but I thought that was pretty funny that I always get a kick like when you get something kind of useful in Ganon's tower at all. Like it's always pretty funny to me. Yeah.
Yeah, I know when we were joking, like as you were going up Ganon's tower, It's like, what else would you possibly want to go for your Ganon fight? And I made the joke. It's like, well, you could just fill your inventory out while you're at it. And then it's like, oh, and then there's the ice rod. It's like, okay, well, we did that.
Yeah, that's pretty much how it went down, I would say, you know, so. But yeah, it was awesome run. I'm really happy. I hope where's Vash at right now? I'm trying to pull up the stream.
Vash is heading up to Ganon's tower as we speak.
Okay. So where did he go wrong? Was he just putting off Turtle Rock? I'm assuming.
Some of it was Turtle Rock. Some of it was he had also completed Tower of Hera. He didn't do, like, you guys were pretty close, but then he needed to do Ice Palace completely. Like, he hadn't been there yet at all. He also had quite a few deaths here and there. So, I mean, that early part where you guys were still rocking the green mail in the Dark World, he was just taking hit after hit. So,
yeah,
it was a little bit rough early.
Yeah, I felt a little like, what do I want to say? I felt a little dumb in when I went to ice, and then like I could not get the magic. Like I kept trying to get magic, and then I realized I had to use Cane, and that was an embarrassing moment too, I would say. Like that was not my top five moments.
I mean, it entertained us, so
well, I'm glad at least it entertained. It was I can only imagine what commentary was for that one. Oh man, he about did a pedestal seed.
Yeah, we were worried there for a while before Turtle Rock had literally everything. We were like, you know, if you don't find what you're looking for in Turtle Rock, you go over to Tower of Hera and just blind pull the pedestal at this point, and then literally everything was in Turtle Rock. Oh well.
Yeah, I mean that was my thought, because I'd already done Thieves Town. So after Turtle Rock, I figured either what I need is gonna be in here, or the ice rod, and then it's a pedestal seat. That was my thought, you know. Even though I guess there was still plenty of places to check. Obviously, the fat fairy would have been one of them. So, but yeah, awesome. It was fun. Yeah, tell Vash I said congratulations. I'm gonna let my thing run out here. So.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, GrandPOOBear. Once again, GrandPOOBear, first tournament win, GG. I think most of the people watching the stream already follow you, but chat, if you guys haven't already followed GrandPOOBear, go ahead, give him a follow over here on Twitch. You want to plug the rest of your stuff, Pooh?
Yeah. Hey, check out the Warp World podcast. Podcast.warp.world. It's a great little podcast. So.
Awesome.
Cool. That's it.
GrandPOOBear, thanks so much, man.
Thanks so much.
And we're back with Vash climbing Ganon's tower.
Yep, just looking for that key. Just got to get to the rando room. Yeah, well, we're waiting for Vash to, find the big key, start his ascent up Ganon's tower. If you're liking what you see, if you haven't followed the runners, definitely follow both the runners. They did a good show. It wasn't the kindest of seeds. Force double dip in a pod for a mirror to get into the completely loaded Turtle Rock. So
yeah, I mean, that Turtle Rock, and that's one of those things, like if you're ever nervous about diving Turtle Rock, this was like the worst seed for you ever. Because Pendant Turtle Rock had literally everything. That is, I'm not joking, that was the most loaded Turtle Rock I have ever seen, especially a Pendant Turtle Rock.
Yeah, and it's just like the seed pretty much, like, POOBear said, as the seed pretty much screamed Turtle Rock, because you went up, Mirror gave you access to Death Mountain, and that was pretty much anywhere you could check at that point, and it was just like you didn't really find anything progression wise whatsoever. You found some fetch quests, that's about it, and it's just like Turtle Rock's just still sitting right there like, hey, I'm pretty much the only other thing up here, and that's the only thing that you've opened up recently. You should probably come in here. I've got stuff for you. I promise I have lots of goodies for you. It's like, yeah, I'll come back later. It's like, okay, I'll keep my hook shot and my bow and your sword upgrade and the boots. You don't want any of this, right?
Yeah, nothing was worthwhile. I mean, literally 4 out of the 5 items in there was worth. I don't like. I'm gonna have to go back and see if the 5th item was just something that would have been nice, like a heart container at that point in time, but it just completely got overshadowed by everything else we got.
Yeah, very rarely do you. I mean, not even the fact that it's a pendant dungeon, just a dungeon in general. Do you see a dungeon that's as stacked as that?
Oh, and chat's making me want to sing. Let's see. What would it be? Cane your cares away, worries for another day. Let the music play down to Turtle Rock. No? Anyone? No?
Oh, we got somebody. Somebody enjoyed it, it looks like.
That would be a shout out to our restreamer, Istola. That was for you, Istola. All you. So Vash is on his way up to the gauntlet at this point in time. Did he stop and get safeties before he started climbing?
I don't believe he did stop to get safeties. Maybe he did because he's got a blue potion, so I probably did then. Has to be. I was expecting him to use one of these. Or not. Gets through it safely. Oh no. Jumps down, takes the death though. Oh, Peziferi, okay, so that's not so bad.
Playing it super safe here.
Yep. Pooh finished at 2 hours 16 seconds or 2 hours 16 minutes and 46 seconds.
And Vash going to go ahead and pick up some safeties here.
Yep, don't blame him whatsoever.
At this point, because the runners can absolutely see when the other one has finished. So I think at this point you're like, I've already lost. I just want to make sure I can get through the seed and do it as healthy as possible.
Yeah, I just want to finish at this point.
Bombo strats. I like it.
Yeah. And it's just like a lot of the runners in this tournament, especially the ones that we're looking at that are, 0-2, the 1-1, some of the 1-1s, a lot of them are very new to the randomizer. They've only been playing a few months at this point. So for them to not only enter the tournament, but be open to being restreamed when they don't have a lot of experience, it takes a lot of courage to know that you're going to have hundreds of people watching you, some of them critiquing what you're doing, even though it's just like you haven't been playing as long as some of the more major runners in this.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I don't know if anyone was really prepared for the size of this randomizer tournament. When things were going, we were expecting maybe 300 or so people. The fact that we filled it up, 512 people, we filled it up, and we had a waiting list is just absolutely astounding for this particular tournament. Lots of new runners, lots of people who are, NMG runners, still getting used to randomizer. A lot of people who maybe had played some other games and only had a handful of seeds introduced from AGDQ. It's just absolutely astounding how quickly this community has grown, and more importantly, I think how awesome the community has been in terms of helping some of these newer players in. You know, this is one of the best internet communities I think I've ever had the pleasure of being a part of. So thank you to all of you out there making this community awesome, and continuing to make it awesome every day.
Yeah, and I know I said it in the commentary chat on Discord. I actually pinged you in the message because you said I was going to be sick of you by the end of the day because I had to commentate your race and then commentate with you. But it's just like, yeah, this has easily been probably the best community I've ever been a part of. Just everybody, there's nobody that's just mean. Everybody just wants to help everybody get better. It's like, it doesn't matter if you're finishing at, you know, an hour and a half or if you're taking 4 hours to finish your seed. Everybody just wants everybody to have fun and get better.
I think one of the surest instances that I can remember of, you know, what this community wants from everyone is during the fall tournament. We had one runner who joined the secondary tournament who I don't think we had played Rando ever. Their first seed, I think, was something like a 7-hour seed. It was on stream. By the end of that secondary tournament, they were getting personal bests of around 2.5 to almost 3 hours. And the community just loved it. I mean, there were so many people in chat that were just, you know, absolutely astounding and cheering this person on for getting a personal best, even when they started out as an absolute newbie. And that's just the kind of people we are.
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, that seed actually, the 7 hours, didn't they stream the entire thing too? They didn't cut stream for that.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'll be honest. I think it helped that it was on late night. That why we didn't cut it.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a long seed and it was late night. The commentators kept through it. The restreamers, the trackers, everyone was still a part of it. We're here for our folks. So, and if you're in chat, you're our folks now. So thank you for being here.
Yeah, and if you're not certain if this is something you want to get into, you know, join the Discord. It does, like I said, it doesn't matter if you're finishing as quick as some of the top runners, especially when we get to bracket stage and you're seeing very close matches that are always, you know, sub 2 hours, things like that. It's just, that's just the kind of people there. They will help. They're not going to be like, well, you're bad, you should just stop, because you're never going to get any better.
Vash getting a bonus Moldorm fight in.
Hated Trolldorm so much, had to kill him 3 times.
I'm fine with that. You know, it's one of those things.
But
Using the
Vash,
cake for dash strats, nice.
and Vash is going to be on Aga 2 in just a moment. Not even.
Oh, and remember this horrible opening pattern. Got some nice lineup here.
Ooh, almost got a triple there.
Oh, nice double.
Yeah, that looked like a double. So 2 more hits. And down goes Aga 2. And you know, while we're waiting for Vash to get to the Ganon fight, 'cause I'm not sure how much time we're going to have once he finishes, because we usually only get to go for 3-hour blocks. We got about 20 minutes for that. Definitely, if you've enjoyed the stream, follow all of the ALTTP randomizers. There's ALTTP randomizer 1 through 4, as well as Speed Gaming 1 through 6. If you want to catch any of the tournament, everything is being restreamed will be on one of those 10 channels.
And while we're at it, we would be remiss if we didn't thank not only both our runners, GrandPOOBear and Vash1978, but also the other folks behind the stream, Istolia, for restreaming for us, and also Merc249 for doing the tracking for us. We actually have someone tracking all the items behind the scenes to keep them up to date, as opposed to pulling the data from the streams of the other runners. So shout out to both those guys working behind the scenes. They absolutely do a ton of work for us behind the scenes there.
Yeah, and Vash is off to phase 3 of the Ganon fight, but yeah, just in that they are kind of the unsung heroes. You don't hear them, you don't see them doing their work, but they are there doing a lot of work for us to keep us on track, make sure we know what's been picked up, especially like when we missed the hook shot.
That was just a minor thing, you know, slight panic.
All right, but Vash is to phase 4. Got 1 arrow in Ganon already, just need 3 more. Doesn't get the torch glitch, but should be fine. Still just has to be a little careful of magic. Not sure if they have another potion or not. Oh, fortunately it takes a Ganon hug. I think they have a fairy.
She does have a fairy, yeah. Oh, there's another potion. That's excellent for Vash there.
Yep. Okay,
Ganon hugs, best hugs.
All right, and down goes Ganon for Vash. GG.
GG Vash 1978. Absolutely well done there.
Yeah, it was said in chat, but yeah, normal difficulty is the best because typically, with the exception of like some more rare type tournaments, any other tournaments that are like the large ones like this are going to be normal difficulty.
And there are other modes if you when you really start getting practice. I mean, the one-hit knockout modes absolutely are best if you want to try to avoid getting hit. But those, I mean, you can just do normal seeds, and that's all I practice, and you'll be fine. And GG to Vash. Spam those emotes.
Yep, definitely get those emotes spammed. And we'll see if we can get Vash in here for... It looks like we do have time, so if Vash is willing, we'll see if we can get them in here for an interview.
Absolutely. While we're waiting on Vash, there are some other matches about to start off. We got about to kick off here at 10 o'clock, which is in 15 minutes over on Speed Gaming 4. We have Trussell versus F. Coughlin. Fred. That's going to be a great one. We do have also at 11 C Falcon versus Cross Product over on Speed Gaming 5. It's only about 45 minutes in over on Speed Gaming 3. We do have Melphis versus Trident Tail. Okay, I get that. That's over on Speed Gaming 3. And looks like that's going to be the majority of the action for the rest of the night. And joining us, I think, is Vash 1978. GG, sir.
GG.
So how you feeling after that seed?
They've got looks like, oh, there they go.
GG, thank you. Can you guys hear me?
Yep, there you go.
Yeah, I had some difficulties. I know I messed up a lot. Yeah. Seed was, yeah, very trolly.
How'd you like that turtle rock? Pendant turtle rock with literally everything you need.
I couldn't believe it. I was thinking about diving in there earlier, and I was like, okay, what's the chances of everything being in there? I'm still gonna check the overworld before I go in there.
Yeah, I've been doing this for a while. I've done a lot of seeds commentating and playing. I don't think I've ever seen a turtle rock that stacked with the bow, the hook shot. There's a sword in there that you didn't even find. It was on Laser Bridge. So
Oh my god.
Yeah,
there was so much stuff.
Yeah, the butter sword was the chest north of, or the next chest past bow. So
Oh, that's all right. I still feel comfortable with tempered.
So what was your feeling as you were going through the race? Was there any point in time that you felt ahead or behind, or what was kind of your feeling as you were going through?
When I got to Skull Woods is one of my dreaded places. I always know, even with me practicing every single day the Mafia fight, I thought I was going to do worse, and it came that close because I was at 1 heart when I beat him. So that's still one of my dreaded places. I felt behind, especially with the amount of deaths that I took, and then particularly when I was in go mode and took 3 deaths in Ice Palace, and I was like, yeah, I'm far behind now.
Well, I think most importantly to you, GG, for your perseverance, because I know that your opponent, GrandPOOBear, finished up, a little bit ago, and I know you saw that, but you just kept going on and persevered and completed the seed. So GG to you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
And one last shout out to Vash1978 and GrandPOOBear. Again, if you liked what you saw from these runners, go ahead, give them a follow here on Twitch. Sir Linkalot, I think that's going to do it for us tonight, isn't it?
yeah, I think that's pretty much it for us. I know we've been going for quite a bit, probably about the end of our allotted time. But like you already pointed out, we've got some races that are already in progress. Got a race that's starting in about 10 minutes, and then another one an hour after that. So still some more rando for this Thursday evening for you to enjoy.
Absolutely. One last time, thank you to our runners. Go ahead and if you like the rando, go ahead and follow us on Speed Gaming 1 through 6 and ALTTP Randomizer 1 through 4. And that'll do it up, wrapping up. My name's Vatasia.
And my name is Sir Linkalot777.
And have a great rest of your night.
Good night, everybody.